So, yay, you can get the same shitty job as any graduate. And you really can, guys. You can get a sales job, you can get a customer service job, you can get an office job right out of high school. You can do that. You would have 4 years of work experience and be a supervisor to new college hires. It'd be great. So you're 22, you're the boss, and all these stupid college grads come and they're like, I've got a degree in history. I'm going to take over the world. And you're like, hey, kid, get over there, get my lunch, get my coffee. That's how it works. Now, I'm not saying that you necessarily even want one of these crap jobs, but you can get one, just like any other college graduate. And if someone says to you, you can't get a job without college, you need to share all this information, share the numbers, and ask them to explain their position and make them defend that statement in the face of facts and data. You will win that conversation every time because you have actual facts and data, and everybody else is just going off conjecture and a lot of crap that they heard. So, we're almost there. We are so close and we're almost ready for the good stuff. I want to just be able to get you into how do you build a life that you actually want? How do you make money? But we have to deal with the last element of this stupid college conversation. It's like the finale of any movie where there's just one more big badass villain to overcome. And that's this. And I want you to have the best defense offense argument to absolutely shut up anyone who gives you trouble, okay? An airtight logical argument or the equivalent of a gun from the future. And you got to be able to address this nonsense. And that is this. You're going to hear that you're still going to hear that a college degree earns you more money. And this is 100% organic, pure, grade A, top of the line bullshit. It is bullshit. And here's why. Okay. Misleading statistics are widely promoted. If you Google what do college graduates make, the top result is going to be from Time Magazine, which is normally a trusted resource. But if you look at where they're getting this data, it says $50,000. $50,000 a year. Are you kidding me? Talk to any college graduate. They're not making $50,000 a year. This data comes from the National Association of College and Employers. Okay. Do you think these guys are impartial? These guys are the, quote, leading source of information on employment of college educated. That's what they say on their own website. The board of directors is comprised of former college career counselors. Guys, this is like asking Exxon and Shell, what is the best source of energy? Is it solar? Is it wind? Or is it gas? And then Shell and Exxon say, well, we think it's gas. It's totally biased. Of course, these assholes who represent the colleges are going to have statistics that make it look like college is a good investment, but they are lying. They are lying so badly. How can the average salary for a college graduate be $50,000 a year when college underemployment is so high, when unemployment is so high, when customer service, that most people are working in customer service, sales, and office jobs, making $12 an hour or maybe $14 an hour, working at restaurants? How can they be making $50,000 a year? First of all, the average doesn't account for majors. So you've got engineers and software developers that actually do make some decent money, and they're all lumped together. And if you look at how the NACE actually breaks down their numbers, look at this. This is basic statistics. You know, this is stuff from high school or even middle school, okay? You got they sample these number of salaries. I'm going to show you what these guys actually do. They sample their own people. First of all, it's not a real scientific study. They actually voluntarily ask for information, and they mess with the data. So they sample 3,000 or 4,000 engineers that are actually making $55,000 a year. And then they sample 149 English majors who are making $24,000. They're making like $12 an hour, right? And then you got to really think about this. Is critical thinking. Engineering degrees only count for 5% of bachelor's degrees awarded yearly. Okay, it's 98,000 engineering degrees out of 1.85 million. So there should only be 5% of the salary sampled should be engineering, but it's not. It's the most. So you got 58 foreign language people, so a few English language people, a few people doing leisure and fitness studies and philosophy, and 4,000 engineers. Don't you think that's going to throw the data off just a little bit? It does. So then they write up this BS report. Time Magazine doesn't think any deeper at all. They just throw it up there. And now some 17-year-old Googles this and says, oh, I'm going to make $50,000 a year when I major in interpretive dance. And that's why you have $1.5 trillion in student debt. If these guys were actually making $50,000 a year, guess what? That debt would be going down, or it wouldn't be rising so astronomically. So they jumble all the salaries together. It's very, very misleading. That's the first problem. Now, the second problem when it comes to the question of college grads earning more money is this earnings and unemployment rates by educational attainment. Now, this chart is Thanos. Okay, this chart is so misleading and misrepresentative of reality that you really have to understand it to really get that. This is why there's a $1.5 trillion in student debts. Okay, in student debt. First of all, this data is 20 years old, and it's only employed people over the age of 25. But look at what it's saying. It's saying that the average bachelor's degree holder is making $1,100 a week. That's insane, guys. There would not be this student debt if that was true. And you have to think deeper. You have to use your critical thinking, okay? So it looks like the more education you get, the more money you make, the lower your unemployment is. Absolutely misleading because correlations are not conclusive. Now, you don't even need to know statistics to understand this. A correlation is just like circumstantial evidence in a trial. You know, you can't convict someone of murder based on circumstantial evidence. Like, oh, the murderer was wearing a pink shirt and Joe likes pink shirts, so Joe must be the murderer. That's it. It's not conclusive. So here's what actually happens and why those numbers look the way they do, okay? College is pushed on everyone. So those who don't go at this moment before Skip College Skip College for Success, people who don't go to college aren't the driven, bright people who are entrepreneurial like you guys. Most of the people who don't go to college now are just not as driven. They're not the brightest. The bright people go to college. And, you know, this is starting to change. And that's what I want to, affect that change. People going to a career path versus college. In 2016, 70% of people went to college. 2017, 67% went to college. So 3% drop. Maybe next year it'll be more and more and more. But right now, most people go to college. And what happens is a smart person goes to college. They waste 4 years. They incur debt. And 10 to 20 years later, they grow their career and they make more money than the person who didn't. And this is what happened with me and almost everybody that I know. Okay, I graduated in 1999 from NYU. I spent 10 years working, waiting tables, doing office work, telemarketing, doing bullshit jobs. I worked at the Haleakala Crater in Hawaii. I delivered pizzas for Pizza Hut. And 20 years after I graduated, I figured money out. I figured a lot of this stuff out. And I went from making $20,000 or $30,000 a year to making $100,000 a year. I worked my ass off. But these assholes are going to lump my earnings in with the BA. And they're going to use those statistics to tell you that I'm making six figures because of my degree, and that is a lie. It is an absolute falsehood.
Like the truth behind that $1 million bonus.
There could be no more misleading statistic that I could possibly tell you about.
Misleading, Nemco says, because it includes super earners like these billionaires. They skew the average.
It is correlated information. So don't believe it. Don't believe that information because you can correlate any two pieces of data. Okay, you can correlate the number of people who drowned after falling out of a fishing boat with the marriage rate in Kentucky. And you go, oh, these looks like one of these pieces of data is affecting the other. Well, when that marriage rate goes up in Kentucky, I better not go fishing because I might drown. It's insane. With no control, the data is meaningless and hilarious. So same thing with this chart. Median lifetime earning by educational level. It looks like the more education, the more money you make because of the degree. So, I should get a master's degree. I'll make more money. And this is the other thing these guys did that's so misleading. They put PhD in with JD and MD. PhD guys, my dad has a PhD, is when you spend, it's like the ultimate intellectual masturbation. You are getting the most hardcore, useless degree there is. But JD and MD, that's a lawyer or a doctor, so they're going to lump the most useless degree, a PhD, in with a JD and MD. And that's really misleading because there's not, PhDs are not making $300,000 a year, all right? So you can correlate anything. You could correlate the divorce rate in Maine with per capita consumption of margarine. You could say, well, when that divorce rate in Maine goes down, people stop eating margarine. We need to get that margarine consumption up. Let's have divorce rate go up. It's just data. And without a control, it doesn't mean anything. So here's what I'm going to explain what that means very simply. It's very simple, guys. Just think of it this way. Is this guy on the left going to make less money because he doesn't have a degree than the guy on the right? Okay. You got some asshole who's not very driven. And then you have some science nerd. And you lump them together. And if they lump good students, driven people, and people without aptitude or drive into one big pile, it's totally non-conclusive. So here's what would be statistically accurate. For a real study, you'd have to take 1,000 college-ready people like you guys who are smart and driven, and you send 500 to college, and you have 500 skip college. And it's never been done before, because all they'll do is they'll say, oh, the people who happen to go to college happen to make more money. This is a control and a variable. Okay, so if you take 500 college-ready people, send them to college, and So this is a statistically accurate study. You have to compare two similar groups. You take 1,000 college-ready people, you send 500 to college, and you have 500 skip college. And this has never been done. Never been done. There's a control group and a variable group. Now, this is basic stuff. When they test medicine to see if a medicine works, they have a placebo, they have a control group. So they'll take 100 people and they give 50 of them the drug and 50 they give a sugar pill, because you have to have people who are similar doing different things to see what the difference is. And if you want to prove that college is the reason people make more money, you have to do it this way. It's never been done. The closest thing is what we're doing now. I have so many students like Zach and Shin and Karen and so many other people who are having such success in life without college. And these are people who would have been pressured to go to college. But because they didn't go to college, they're not sleeping in a ditch. They're doing better. They're doing better than the other people.
Many successful college kids would have been successful whether they went to college or not.
You could take the pool of college-bound students and you could lock them in a closet for 4 years, and they're going to earn more money.
You could spend 4 years twiddling your thumbs, sitting in a closet, eating ice cream, playing video games. I don't care what you do for 4 years. If you do something other than college, you're still going to make more money. You're still going to be successful in life. That's my whole point of this whole thing, my whole insane thing. So congratulations. You made it. You made it through the matrix. You're still in school, but now you've taken a realistic trip into the future and you've examined things that most people never even look at. So my goal for you is to stop stressing and relax, even though I'm about to have a hemorrhage here screaming about this. I want you to stop stressing about school and relax, because you are in it's like you're in an asylum right now and you're the only sane person. SATs, APs, grades, they're a waste of your time and your energy. It's going to lead you to the future that you've just seen, where you wasted all this time and you don't need to do it. So you can relax. So when you skip all that bullshit and you stop stressing about your college admissions and your APs and your grades, you could start focusing on creating a life that you want. Or you can at least take a breath. Screw getting A's, get C's. No one cares. I've been an adult for 20 years and I can't even think of anyone's ever asked me what my grades in high school were like. It's meaningless. So now you're ready for the skip college for success approach. This is where from age 15 to 23, you focus on stuff that matters. Making money, self-development, self-directed learning, mostly making money. Because then by the time you're 23 or 24, you have a foundation and you have the ability to do what you want with your life, travel, you have choice, you have freedom, you have power. You can do what you want. You're not sitting in a mountain of debt, freaking out about getting your first job at Starbucks or at some office somewhere. So let's look at the typical $15 an hour customer rep job. Let's say you're 18 years old and you skipped college. You have no debt. You have a head start and you're on a stepping stone to your next project. You can support yourself and save money and actually enjoy this, kind of maybe boring job. But if you're 22 and you have a degree, oh my God, it is hell. You have $400 a month in loans. You're 4 years behind the 18-year-old who skipped college. You have a wasted degree. It's really hard to save and support yourself. And that doesn't even take into account the stress and just the internal freak out of what the frig did I just do with the last 4 years or 16 years of my life. Puts you in a much better position. So there's resources telling the truth, and they exist, but they're just not that well known. I have provided a lot of these resources in the resource section. There's a book called Better Than College by Blake Bowles. That's great. There's a website called Uncollege, a website called Successful Dropout, Hacking Your Education by Dale Stevens, The Education of Millionaires. All these books are so awesome because they're full of practical, common sense, empowering information that is completely different than everything you were taught in school. And by now, I hope you can see there's no didn't go to college monster that's going to eat you. In fact, you're better off and you're getting a head start. Really, really, you are. Because conventional wisdom is usually stupid. It's so stupid. Doctors used to endorse cigarettes. 20 years ago, the things we thought were real, and true, we no longer think that. Things are always changing. So you're way ahead of the curve, guys. And if you don't wait for conventional wisdom, that's what I'm saying. If you wait till everybody catches on to this, then you're going to be in trouble. In 1951, Ronald Reagan was in a movie with a monkey. Who the hell knew he was going to become president of the United States? I'm not going to use Donald Trump. You can say the same thing about Donald Trump. The point is, you don't know what the future is going to bring. And we always look back and kind of laugh at what we used to think. I'm 40 now, which is insane because I remember being 17. Guys, it goes fast. I don't care if you're 13 or 17. You think, being a teenager sucks. I want to grow up. It's going to go fast.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Once you hit 18, you are legally an adult. So it's your life regardless of your age, and you should start operating like that. Nobody can make you go to college. Nobody can make you take out loans. It's your signature on those forms. And you stand up to your parents and your teachers and say, it's my life, it's not your life. You can't make me do crap, okay? And now you have the facts to back that up. And a glorious fire will be lit under your ass as your mind is freed up and you learn what to do instead of the nonsense they've been teaching you in school. So, again, this is the SIP College for Success approach. This is what we're going to be getting into in the rest of the course. Making money, self-development, self-directed learning relevant to adult life after 22. Let's set you up for 40 years of happiness instead of the 4-year load that you would normally blow in college. And we're going to get into that. Now, if you're going to pursue a piece of paper, this is the better option, which leads us to the next section, which will be after the next video, called How to Actually Make Money. And there's one more video in this section called It's All About Self-Directed Learning. I want you to watch that video, and then we're going to get into how to actually make money. And I'll see you there.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.